Strange Sally Diamond. Her name changed several times throughout the writing of the book, and I realized I wanted her name in the title of the book, and I wanted her to be Strange something something. And I was looking at my own bookshelves one day, and I was kind of going, oh, and I was looking at the names of the writers and if there were character names, and I'm kind of going, yeah, everybody who uses the name of a character, like there's Grace McGill in Craig Robertson's book, and there's, lots of different names. And then I was looking at like one of my shelves has got four Lisa Jewels in a row. I was kind of going, Lisa Jewell. That's a good name. I was thinking Ruby. Ruby's a good name. That's a jewel. Ruby. And then I was kind of going, Strange Ruby, as her father says, socially disconnected, that she's, that she can't work because she's mentally this, that, or the other. I don't diagnose her in the book actually because, she's neurodivergent. She's not neuroatypical. It's another way of saying it. She's not autistic. I was kind of careful about that because I have a lot of autistic friends and they're all very different. They're all their behaviors are all quite different. So I didn't want to pin a label on her when I know that one autistic friend wouldn't behave that way and one would. Uh, and uh, yeah, so when her father dies, she goes up to bring him his tea in the morning, as she does every morning, and he's taken to his bed about a month previously, and she finds that he's died in the night. And she remembers that he said, "Oh, when I die, put me out with the bins." And she doesn't realize that this is just a casual kind of jokey thing that he was saying. So she actually goes and get a large garden waste bag, and he's very small and very underweight at this stage because, he's 82. He's kind of shrunk a bit. He's never a tall man to begin with. And she puts him into a large garden waste bag and she brings him around to the incinerator in the barn at the back of their house and sets it alight. And then she goes to the post office to get her welfare check. And the lady in the post office pushes across her father's welfare check as well and says, Sally, you've forgotten your father's. And Sally speaks for the first time and she says, oh, we won't be needing that. He's dead. And the postmistress is amazed, first of all, that Sally can speak, and second of all, that she's telling her that her father has died. So then it blows up, like the whole thing blows up. Sally comes to the attention of her neighbors in her community who all find out that her father has died and she has disposed of him in this way. And then the police are involved because they have to be sure that she didn't murder him or why she tried to dispose of his body in this way. And of course, they find letters from him detailing the funeral arrangements that he wants. And Sally has seen this letter with her name on it, but she's waiting for her birthday to open it because that's when her father usually sends a card first. So she thinks that she should wait until her birthday, which is in a couple of weeks' time. So she hasn't read his funeral instructions, and yeah, and then of course the police are far more interested in her past. And she slowly discovers that she always knew she was adopted, but that she was adopted out of a really horrific situation. And she is, in fact, the child of a paedophile and the child that he abducted. So it gets very dark. She was his life's work, so he just recorded all of her all of her kind of peculiarities and all of her behaviors and like what she ate and what she spoke and how she spoke and her music, her piano playing, and she's a very proficient piano player, having only had a few lessons. And uh so he records all this, but he doesn't ever push her to do anything. Whereas when her mother was alive, when her adoptive mother was alive, she was very keen that Sally should be integrated into the community. She was sent to school. She hated it. When she left school, she never wanted to go outside the door again, really. So they moved to this tiny village in the middle of nowhere, and that way Sally could be alone. And this is what her father permitted. And so Sally, you know, when as she goes through these 4 years of psychotherapy, she learns a lot about social signals and a lot about, how to behave around people, how to, interact with people, how to not offend people by saying the wrong thing. You know, she's not perfect. Like she is an adorable character in a lot of ways, but she does have flashes of violence when she feels threatened or when she feels that a loved one is threatened. And, it's only through discovering her past that she realizes why. And she realizes why she hates noise or friction or bright lights. And, because for the first 5 years of her life, she lived in one room with her mother. And yeah, it's kind of it's a very sad background, but I don't go into the graphic detail. It's all implied. And even, how she finds her father's notes that he wouldn't her father was her mother's psychiatrist. So she finds the notes that her father took of her mother's story, and even her mother doesn't want to talk about what happened in the room, but she comes to understand, herself, what it was. But Sally's kind of less bothered by the truth than the people around her, um because she's someone who just accepts um everything. She's not particularly curious. um she just accepts everything she's told as fact. So she's very easy to fool. Um, but she knows right from wrong. And what I like about her, she has some really warming traits, and one of them is the fact that she sees no difference between people. Like whether you're 5 or 50, she's going to talk to you the same way. Whether you're black or white, whether you're gay or straight, whether you're, you know, posh or poor. She doesn't care. She treats everybody the exact same. And I think it would be a better world if we were all a bit more Sally Diamond.